So GDPR, just by a show of hands, how many of you around the room or your organisations are signed up to the Information Commissioner's Office? So that's really reassuring. So those of you that haven't, I'm not here to tell you off, but I'd probably encourage you to register. So the ICO recently published some guidance that is encouraging organisations to sign up. It's a small fee. I think last time I checked it was around £40. That may have changed, but they are beginning to find organisations that aren't signed up, and that's currently in the region of around £400. So like I say, so those of you that have, well done. Those of you that haven't, I would look to do that as soon as you can. We're really fortunate to have Kaylee with us with the CCG for 6 months to help a lot of care providers through the new Data Protection and Security Toolkit. That was formerly the IG Toolkit, and it's a new, it's a much better version of the toolkit, and I can say that with some confidence. But we're really fortunate, as I say, to have Kaylee, and she's going out and supporting a lot of the provider organisations. And I think some of the useful feedback that we're getting from Kaylee is that some organisations are struggling in some areas around accountability and how you demonstrate your compliance. So with your asset registers and fair processing notices. So really, I'm here more so we are here to help and support you with any questions that you may have, more so than us providing some boring slides on how dull GDPR is. So I'd really like to hand it back over to you, really, as to any questions that you may have.
Does anybody know about the toolkit? That's the first question. Yes. Yeah? Does everybody know about the toolkit? Who's completed? Who did the DSP toolkit?
This year.
This year? Ooh.
Last year. Who would like me to come and support them to complete it?
Oh,
It's very
yeah.
And it does open up doorways, obviously, because they're acting the facts. Obviously, your clinical information for your GPs, your pharmacies, your community services will no longer be supported by facts. So if you can complete the DSP toolkit and you need help, I would then be able to help register you on NHS Mail as well. But my contact details are...
Could I just ask, do the GPs know about, are they all ready for us as well?
So the GPs are aware that NHS Mail is being rolled out. They're all for it because they want to get rid of their faxes as well.
Okay.
But we are setting up, and we are saying that when we go around, we'll have discussions to have that open discussion with your GPs and your services, to set up realistic expectations between the two of you, and how often you're going to be checking. We have created a memorandum of understanding, which is going to be sent out to GPs and care homes as well.
We were just wondering how we were actually going to communicate with them, how it's going to meet, and whether the GP is going to have access on our system so that he can access the surgery. So do we have a system?
So NHS Mail, you mean to log into NHS Mail?
Yes.
So it's accessible via a website, so you can log into the portal on tablets, mobiles, desktops, laptops, any kind of device that has internet you can log in. Right. So he doesn't need to come over, and he doesn't need like a specific computer to log in as such. He can log in if he has his tablet or his mobile with him.
Okay, because what happens at the moment, everything is with us. So when he comes and does his rounds, he then has to go back and write everything up and log everything up.
Yeah, that will still happen.
Yeah, he'll still do that because obviously legally they only have to write what they're finding in one place. But what we've been suggesting, and what a lot of them are open to, is to perhaps write their notes and then copy and paste it to the secure NHS email and then forward it over to you. Yeah. And then you can then obviously print it out or copy and paste it to your own care plans. Right. They are pretty open to that suggestion. We haven't had anyone saying that they don't want to do it.
And will the same happen for the hospital? Will we have access to hospital notes and then to have access? to our hospital, our patients?
I think long term it's something that's being looked into. For the short term it's more
It's just sharing
kind
of
of community.
information at the moment, but in the long term, hopefully, it'll be limited access in the future. But you just use your secure email to send information in, like you would have sent a fax before. So that's the only way at the moment. Sending secure emails is the same process. So you might get the discharge summary sent to your email address.
That's right, yeah.
Some assessments or discharge information.
You want to think, had a microphone in use. It's more about, just making sure that your communications, NHS Mail, is not to sort of supplement System 1 and all the clinical systems we use. It's just about making sure that when you communicate outside of any system, you have an end-to-end kind of secure portal to send those to and from. So, for instance, the hospital, lots of the large provider trusts, N&SCS, they've all employed systems that mean NHS Net in and out of their services are also secure. So anybody that has an NHS Net email address, it just really does facilitate the ease and knowing that end-to-end you are secure. You can send your clinical information, you can send your patient identifiable data. Everything is sort of secure from here to there. There's no worry about what's in between. So, yeah.
But we won't be able to set it up or finalise it until such time as the turnover, until the date of commencing.
So Kaylee's role to help providers through the toolkit means once, and I'm sure Kaylee will talk to you about that, once you're through the toolkit, as soon as you have your email address, you're ready to rock and roll with your end-to-end. In communication terms, so sending an email to anybody, if you've agreed that's the process and you have their NHS Net email address, it's secure.
Okay, yeah.
Heidi, is this available for care homes and home care? All care providers.
All
that
care
has an
providers.
ODS code.
Can you explain to people what an ODS code is?
Expert.
Do you want to explain?
One.
So poor Kaylee's been out, and so it's almost for us, and I suppose we view it as an organisational code. Everybody that registers, and I think Kaylee can facilitate and assist in the registration. It's something you have to do yourselves, but once you have that ODS code, it's kind of like a little, ta-da, here we are in the system, and from that point on, you can take your toolkit through. So
what is an ODS code?
Organisational data security. And
so it's a little it's a tiny little code, but it's an organisational data code, and it opens the door to all the options around.
And where do you get it, Heidi?
There's a website, have we said
ODS portal website?
Yeah.
If you Google ODS portal.
Or we can share the website again, because I think we did have a few people that got some interesting things when they Googled ODS, but yeah.
I know you have to Google ODS portal.
Yeah.
And the ODS codes, if you have a business, so some of like Norse homes didn't have an ODS code because they weren't registered and they were set up for sharing of information, but we know some businesses have changed and now need an ODS code so they can apply for it. So Kaylee will support you. If you can't find it, you don't know what it is, don't worry. We have done a flyer, Christine, with all the information in Kaylee, so that can go out with the...
I'll go out in the next email.
Exactly, and then contact Kaylee if you're not sure.
Just want to ask, if you've got your NHS .NET account before, from your first job, and you move to another one, and you have it for that same email, do you keep that, or you check with me to get a new one?
So your NHS Net, so mine, obviously for me, is Heidi Davey at South Norfolk. And so NHS Net, and then in my little brackets, my sponsoring organisation beyond that will be South Norfolk CCG. If I then transfer over to Norwich CCG, as an organisation, you can, my South Norfolk organisation would deregister me as a leaver. I could take that code forward, and then Norwich CCG could use them. I could keep my email address, but my sponsor would change. So if you've got a generic email address to a home or something more specific to your service, then obviously you won't take that with you. But if it's your individual one, your sponsor as such will change. because when you do,
ownership of that mailbox has to add you to the mailbox. So you can't do it yourself. The person who is the admin for that mailbox, the local admin, has to actually make a request on your behalf.
yeah.
But basically, yeah, like Holly said, they've been registered, it remains dormant until somebody else requests at it.
So you can be out of a health service for 5 years, and if you come back in and want another NHS care, and yours is still there, your new sponsor can email and pick that up for you. So it'll just be in the ether until then. I was going to say this,
I've registered, and thanks to Kaylee, the shorter version was brilliant, but I was already halfway through the fuller version. I noticed that for training purposes for our staff, in order to qualify to maintain the standards met of the fuller version, I have to, in theory, have trained all my staff on GDPR and data security, but most of them will only ever deal in manual records. Plus there are questions around having compliance and putting in a percentage of how many people have responded to questions that are with your training, your 45-page training. There's no way I can get 50 odd staff in a very small care home through a 45-page document in training. So how do you suggest I maintain my compliance?
well, I think, and again, the toolkit, as you said, last year was a very evidence-heavy, awful thing. We spent months stressing out because we were audited regularly on ours. This new DSPT this year, much more user-friendly, less evidence to upload and the opportunity to comment against every evidence bit. So in terms of training, that's the most difficult thing, I think, certainly for you guys. I mean, we struggle and we have people there day in, day out. And enthusiasm may not necessarily be sky high for doing so. There are different training tools out there, there are different online modules, and I know, as you say, that your staff prefer a paper-based, but we have found from reviewing lots of paper training tools, some are much better, much more user-friendly, much more catered to what you are. But it's an equivalent training, so the training has to suit your staff, it has to make sure they understand their responsibilities, because we are all responsible. But there are different options, there are slightly more user-friendly than however many pages you just described, I think. So maybe if you've got Kaylee's contact details and you'd like us to send you some examples of them, we may be able to find you alternatives that may be a bit more user-friendly and less daunting. That helps. You can do that. And the gentleman.
Okay, is this a suggestion that this idea doesn't work with the .co.uk email addresses?
So, in terms of security, the NHS mail is secure from end to end. So if you're emailing one NHS net address to another NHS net address, is secure. There are a few variations with local government colleagues and things, but some of those are all changing, so I don't really want to quote those because some change from the end of March, so we're in a bit of a new territory there. But so they're only secure for those emails. So your co.uk, they're not secure. That's the whole point of having an NHS net account. It does offer you the security from end to end, that your GP practices, that the hospitals, that all those systems are secure for.
So we've been asked then to have an NHS.net email account.
Yes.
For our organisation.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what Kaylee is here to do. We've been fortunate enough to have Kaylee come in and support provider organisations to get through the toolkit until July. Let's not think about that, we're ostrich until then. Until July, and then she will help and assist providers through, because once you get the toolkit, you've got your NHS net account. And everybody is required to have the compliance of the toolkit anyway moving forward. So I think we'll see that position strengthen as data becomes far more of an issue for all of us. But yeah.
I see, Kaylee, will you help domiciliary care as well as
Yeah.
care homes?
Yeah. I've just started going out to some dom agencies, but it's the same process, so
Okay, because I have found it very
very cumbersome, and we only have one NHS account. And to go through all that, to put it very bluntly, crap, for one NHS service user is taking, that has, well, I just put it on, I put it on hold for the last 3 months because I just can't
And I
go back
think,
to it.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
please know that from our point of view who do this day in, day out, oh, bless you.
Well, I just had a threatening email. If you don't have it done by the 31st
Yeah.
of March, and I think, well, you know,
Yeah.
people seem to think we're going to fall off the end of the cliff because there's no Brexit.
Well, I think
I'm
that-
certainly not going to worry about this. So, you know.
And I think this is the thing, we've got tiny providers, we've got people that are, you know, are single person organisations and charities. They're all trying to achieve so many things. And I do think it's the way we're all going to have to go. And I do think, but there are ways, and as I say, this year's toolkit is far more user-friendly than previous versions. So they are listening. Do I think it will change and there'll be a different variation potentially moving forward for you guys? Probably. But it's a learning thing, I think, as we all go
Well, I
on.
will wait for the rush, Kelly, and maybe speak to her in a couple of weeks' time. And you might be, hopefully, he'll quite on today.
She'll get you through the toolkit in an hour.
That
40 minutes the other day.
I'll quote you on that.
All right.
Fantastic.
You do have to supply refreshments.
I've seen your face, I know your name, I'll quote you. That's brilliant. You know where I live.
Everyone I've been out to, the feedback's been at the end of it, oh, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Well, come to us, we're just opposite Bamsey, you'll be able to see the buzzards flying.
Circling.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
1
that-
o'clock
yeah.
every day, yeah, absolutely.
Certainly.
Yeah.
And as I say, if anybody's got any issues and you do use Kaylee's email as a portal, she sits and can get hold of all of the team. So if there's anything you can do, and
Or
there's
just
some
email
check-ins
me,
and-
leave me a voicemail, I'll call you back. I'm pretty.
And just the last thing, when you do get your email account, there is some confusion around it. Please contact Kaylee because she will support you how to use it properly. Get the memorandum of understanding between the organisations you're going to use it and set it up in your inbox.
And how to actually access your shared mailbox.
And the generic one, because it won't be given to you automatically. You have to find it. So just remember Kaylee.
Thank you.